All right, recording has started. We are doing a negotiation between Vlad and Attila. Vlad is going to be playing the part of a real estate fund manager. It's a new fund. He's looking to
Mhm.
get some investors and build up his business. And he's approaching his old friend Attila, who he believes is wealthy and might be interested in this fund.
Okay. Yeah, not interesting twist in this scenario. Okay, let's do that. Attila is my old friend. I didn't know that, but okay.
Yeah, why not? Why
That
not?
changes the scenario dramatically, by the way, but it's okay. So Attila, you need to act my old friend. So
It does. It does change. Yeah.
like I thought we are completely unrelated people, but yeah, if or it's a Stan. Stan is here. Okay, awesome. And Ryan also, I want to acknowledge Ryan. Hey, Ryan. So yeah, Attila. Hey, Attila. We haven't talked for a long time. How is it going? Really great to catch up.
Yeah. Good to see you. Good to see you, Vlad. How is everything going with you?
Yeah, good. Awesome. Are you still with the bank? Are you still working in the bank, or you're starting your own business? What's going on with you?
Well, I have my own business, a little small business, so that's what I'm doing. How about you?
That's cool. Yeah, starting a business is a challenge. When did you start it?
2 years ago,
2 years? How is it going so far?
it was rough in the beginning. I was still working in the bank and I was working from home, so
Mhm.
it wasn't easy. So how about you? What are you doing these days?
Yeah, it's a great question. I want to get back to you. Do you mind if I ask you a little bit more about your business? Because, still, since we talk about this already.
Yeah, yes, sure,
Yeah.
sure.
So, yeah, I, I agree. The first 2 years is the roughest 2 years. And it is probably really challenging to understand like where the money is, how to make this work. And I'm glad that you're kind of start to make it. But I remember you were like a successful investor before and you were investing. Are you still investing or you kind of moving away from that?
Well, so I was, you know, trying basically.
Hmm.
So, when you work at the bank, they teach you how the money works and
Hmm.
how to invest and the safety and the things like that. But uh, honestly, you got so many things and you have to learn so many things and so much knowledge. And when you try to use it, it
Hmm.
just in the real world, it's just not the same.
Yeah. And,
So,
and yeah, you're right. And last couple years were really challenging for investment because the market is rough. The economy is going up and down. There's a lot of uncertainty there and different conflicts that, impact. How does it impact your investment and what's your best strategy for investment today?
well, that's a really good question. I can't answer what to do. There is no
Well,
way.
Attila, I have always been looking up to you as a expert in investment, and I was I was thinking like you can give me advice.
Well, I left the business 2 years ago. So if you need some advice or you're unsure with what to do, I can tell you what to do if you want to be safe, but
Hmm.
and you're probably never gonna make money, or maybe you're gonna be even. But how to make money and with investing and be safe at the same time is just probably for the big people, the big shot people who they don't
Hmm.
care if they lose a million or two, you know.
Interesting. Wow,
So
it's that bad. It's that bad. It's really so um, challenging today. That's so uncertain that you cannot really invest reliably.
well, probably I'm not brave enough.
Hmm. So there's a lot of risks.
Yeah, it looks like, yeah.
Yeah. So if you are in the West, like what is the best you're hoping for? Like what the kind of like percent of return of investment? Like it's a 5%, 50%, 500%, like what you're typically kind of aiming.
Yeah, that's a good question. Basically, I never went that too deep. You
Hmm.
probably laughing on me. I'm in the business and I don't know my numbers, right?
Hmm.
But I have so many friends and they say, "Oh, I make my money back in 5 years," so that's like 20% or whatever a year. Probably that's for, the big people who understands the market and everything. But to me, well, maybe 15% at least, I would say.
Yeah.
15 would be the least.
Yeah, well, at least if 15% you will beat the market is because market is usually 10% a year. And if you get 15, you beat the market. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. That means you're a smart investor and you know where to put your money. So with a little risk, you can get 15%.
Yeah.
How do you do
So,
this today? Where do you invest today to get 15% on your investment?
well, I don't have anything like that. I don't
No.
have anything like that today. No.
So you cashed out. You just keep your cash in the bank and put it in, I don't know,
Yeah,
security deposit. Yeah.
it's just in the bank, and if the opportunity comes, I just look at it
Gotcha.
and
Gotcha.
let's see.
So in terms of a risk, what kind of opportunities you look in the high risk, middle risk, or low risk?
Low risk.
Low risk. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And how do you
Oh,
find those? Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah. How about you? It seems like something is going on, or you have a good idea.
Well, I, I don't know if it's a good idea. You tell me. Um, I'm also kind of like a low risk investor, and I found that I collaborate with some um, other investors, and I create the fund, and essentially it's a real estate fund. And you remember the market recently was so hot about real estate; it was easy to buy. So we actually took advantage of this low percent interest rate, and we purchased a bunch of properties. And essentially, what the plan is to renovate and sell. And the opportunity here is to make 20, 25% on a passive. Of course, the people who are doing the work, they get more. They will get about 35, 40% on the investment. So what kind of investment will be more attractive to you? From your with your experience, the more active one with a higher percent and maybe a little bit more risky or passive where you guarantee that you get your 20%.
The passive sounds better to me
Hmm.
since I'm a busy person.
Yeah.
And you said guaranteed 20%?
Yep. There's a contract and all the investments and all the investments, they actually get to share and they buy shares. And when the house is sold, the shares are distributed according to the percent of what you purchased.
Sounds pretty good. What's the catch?
Well, the catch is you need to wait.
How long?
Um, Well, essentially, we need to renovate the house and sell it. Typically, well, the other thing is we need to find investors. So if we find enough investors, fund the renovation, and then we sell the house, we get the money back. Also, there's a hold strategy, and exercising the hold strategy, um, we pretty much looking into a year period. So you wait for 1 year, you get to 20%, but that the money is locked. You cannot really cash it out. That's the only catch.
Okay. So if we invest and give you the money, after the 12 months, you give back the money and extra 20% on top of it. Is that how it works?
Yep, 20 months or less. Yeah, 12 months or less.
12 months. Okay.
We actually provide communication to all the investors. So what are we
Mm.
doing, in which stage we are. So you're kind of getting a sense of what's going on. And if there's a 1 or 2 months, ahead or behind, it may happen depending on the market,
Hmm.
because selling process may take a month or it may take 2 months, but you will get a good idea.
Yeah, that was I was gonna ask. Since the interest rates are so high, are people still buying houses? I heard it's not affordable anymore in some areas. So how do you know you're gonna be able to sell it, or what happens if you don't able to sell it?
Yeah, so yeah, that's a very good question. And yeah, that's a risk that the house will not sell for the price it's intended to. In this case, we exercise the hold strategy and we exercise the rental strategy as well. So essentially, if you don't sell the house, you start to get the dividends on your shares that come from the rental.
So
Maybe.
if we get to that
Mhm.
the scenario, I'm not getting back the whole money. I'm getting monthly payments. Is that how it works?
Essentially, you will get more because you will get the dividends and the 20%. You just need to wait a little longer.
Okay.
Sounds like you're interested. Do you want to crunch the numbers? And I can send you a spreadsheet of what investment will look like.
Well, it would be nice to look at the numbers. So how does it work if let's say you're not able to sell it for 3 years? So you're gonna rent it out, right?
In 3 years, you probably get the same your money back in dividends, like the whole investment. You will get in
Uh,
dividends. Yeah.
so for 3 years, the money be at you, and I'm getting some monthly payments.
hmm So let's put it this way. Let's say you invested $1,000 or $100,000. Okay. And let's say I invested like 400,000. So together it's 500,000. We renovate the house. We invest in the house. We renovate it. We rent it, and every month we get 5,000. You get 1,000. I get four. Make sense?
Okay.
And let's say
Okay.
you hold it for 3 years. How many do you have? You have 30 grand, right?
Yeah.
Is that 30 grand? A little more, 35 grand in
So
this
I'm
case.
getting back the 100,000, and every month I'm getting
Yeah,
1,000.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and when we sell it, you get your 20% anyway.
Mm-hmm. That sounds pretty good. Yeah, let's send me the spreadsheet and let me look at the those houses and
Yeah, yeah. We have a 10 million portfolio. I'm wondering how much you looking to invest if this works for you.
wow, 10 million. So how much have you collected so far?
You're the first investor, so we need another four investors. We are looking to collect about 500,000 for innovation.
Uh-huh. It's a pretty good number.
Mhm.
Yeah. I have to look at that and see the numbers, see the houses. Are you able to send the addresses so I can look at the after repair value and things like that, and the
Okay.
area and the zoning?
Sounds like you want to looking to be a little bit more involved in this rather than just passive investor. Because passive investors just give the money, get the percent back. They don't care. And it sounds like you want to be more active.
Well, never knew you are real estate professional, so I did some real estate in the years back,
Gotcha.
and it would be nice to look at those
hmm
numbers and the zoning and things
hmm
like that, and
Oh, cool. Yeah, well, I
so.
didn't know that you are in real estate as well. So yeah, I can show you all the addresses, all the information about the house, give you a tour. I don't know if you want to go there, or I can send you the pictures. There are properties in different states, so you might not be able to hit all of the locations, but yeah, we'll
Mhm.
we'll see what we can do. So how much do you think? Let's say you know, let's say you're comfortable with that. The risks are not really high for you. How much you would
All
do?
right, guys, we're at time.
All right. Well,
That
hope you enjoyed it.
uh, that was the time when I was gonna reveal how much I wanna invest with you.
Yeah, Scott cut us off and said like, okay, that's enough,
All
guys.
right. All right.
Even before the timer.
Very good. Very good. Did you guys see the timer? Did it come up?
I did, and I was watching that.
Okay. Yeah, I
No,
think the
but
timer.
I
Yeah,
think
I
you're
lost.
referring
I
yours
lost
or mine.
visibility of it.
I'm sorry, I didn't get it.
I put it after. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Hey,
I had a
thank you.
timer going from the beginning on my phone, and then I tried to put a Zoom timer up, and I don't know if that worked or not. If you guys saw the Zoom timer or not.
All right.
All right, let's
Any,
give some feedback. Let's Daniel, Attila, Vlad, and actually Vlad. I guess you don't need that, or maybe Vlad wants to give feedback on Attila and
I
Freddie.
want to I want to
Let's
hear feedback from you guys.
yeah,
I don't know,
yeah.
whatever you want to
Daniel,
say.
give us your feedback. Daniel, you're muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody saved my name.
Yeah.
Oh
Did you
shit!
fall asleep? Man, oh
Oh,
no.
I'm sorry.
Oh man,
I
you were up
took a
late last
nap.
night.
No, I know Vlad locked in the deal, right?
Not
Seemed
really.
like
I
he was.
Oh,
Seemed like he kind of did.
was
Seems like he had
close.
some
Yeah.
interest.
I was close.
uh,
I got interest, I guess.
uh. No, I mean tradition-wise, I like to hear from Vlad. Vlad, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you
All
give
right.
your
Right.
use of tools?
I use some tools. I would say I use tools quite lightly. I use some labels. I
And
used I
okay,
used calibrated questions heavily. So questions, questions, questions. So in the beginning, especially, I was trying to get everything from Attila, like what he's doing. And also I used nurturing. And this is not a Chris Voss tool, this is a GymCamp tool, but I used nurturing to kind of paint the picture for Attila of how bad market is and how hard it is, and nurture his business, and build relationships essentially in the beginning. So yeah, uh, 1 to 10, um, let's say 6.
and what would you give your overall performance?
4.
And if you had the magic wand, what would be different? What would be improved, or like what skill or anything?
I would I would slow down. I keep forgetting. I kind of was checking with myself like what I would like to improve, and I kind of in the beginning thought like I don't have a good idea what, and then I felt like maybe I was pacing too fast. It was maybe felt too aggressive. So now I'm kind of paying attention to that. Maybe I could scare out Attila by my push to like move it forward, move it forward, move it forward, and provided we have a short timeline, it could create some tension. So
No,
slow down.
that's no, that's great. And it's funny. When we started, you said, "Oh, 2 minutes, 5 minutes is enough," and then
Mhm.
feedback is, I was worried there wasn't enough time. Yeah, 10 minutes just like it's much. When you're in it, goes by fast.
Mhm.
I liked what you said though, that yeah, you got to slow it down. And he probably did feel pressured. Oh yeah, Attila, you didn't give him the money. Was there a reason you didn't feel rapport? I mean, you knew the guy. Why, why were you being so prudent with your money?
That's just how I am. It's just not because of him. I mean, would you give money to, we were long friends, right? But still, I mean, you don't give 100,000 or whatever he mentioned. So just like, it's just not me.
Oh, okay. So yeah, glad you had a tough counterpart. Yeah, I don't think there's anything you could have said to get him to give it up. Which goes with my feedback is I would have loved to hear more listening on your end. I would have liked for you to ask him some uncomfortable questions, like kind of triggering him, because yeah, it was getting a little boring, and I got to do those calls for work when it's like a work client. But when it's just prospecting for myself, yeah, I like to get uncomfortable, ask, you know, no risk it, no biscuit type of questions.
Hmm.
But you played it safe, and it's nice
Makes sense.
seeing how it's played safe and it's recorded too. But I kind of wish you would have went more. Try to rattle up your counterpart and get more beans out of him.
Yeah, I think, Daniel, this is a good feedback. So I didn't do something. So maybe what I should have said is saying, oh, how can you actually like grow? How can you secure your business if you don't have a good investment on the other side? How could you secure? How could you ensure? How could you ensure that you are not really in a safe place if your business fails, so to speak? So in other words, I need to trigger somehow a fear that the business fails and there is no safe investment that gives him a reliable income. So I should have asked this question. Um, so would pay, it trigger a conversation about like, yeah, I need to do something right now, and I need to invest something, so it would be a safety net for to get another source of income. Yeah, that's a good feedback, Daniel. Thank you. Depending on who Attila is, maybe Attila is a risk avert, and then and then therefore Attila would say like, well, I better keep the cash. So I probably should have asked that question first, and then ask a challenging question.
Actually, I have a question for Vlad. In this scenario, of course, right?
Oh wait,
Attila can be anyone. Oh,
sorry,
go
I
ahead.
have yeah, no, and then the second portion of my feedback. Um, I think Vlad really helped. I'm not the host, so I can be a jerk, not the feedback. I don't know. It's up to you, Vlad. Can I?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Any
Oh,
feedback.
okay.
Yeah, sure.
I would. Okay. Word brevity. You just spewed 100 words. It was the same tone. So it doesn't matter what words you say. If your tone is not behind that swing, it's not going to have any impact. And also, you're not doing any pauses in between anything.
Okay, that's where I need to slow down. That's true. And what about the tone? I mean, could you
Well,
explain a
well,
little bit more?
the tone is saying with the speed is saying, I really need this money.
Yep.
And Attila, I mean, Attila is very risk averse. So, he's hearing, man, I'm desperate for this 150K. I really need it, Attila. I really need it. This is why X, Y, B, and Z. We got these properties here. You'll come over here. I might not show it to him. I will show it to them. Yeah, like that,
Mhm.
this, that. And he's going
Yeah.
like, oh, fuck, I'm stressed already. Uh, the tone, you were very focused on the goal. The
Yep.
hostage is dead. I think, yeah, it would have been more fun, exciting to hear you trying to crack Attila, trying to get more beans out of him, more elicitation, get him to tell some personal stories, and then take that ammunition and use it against him. And
10
it would be
minutes.
almost fool
10
of him
minutes,
not
man.
to give you the money.
10
Well, I mean,
minutes.
that's the irony. First, you said 5 minutes was too short, and then two, but then when we get to it, it's like, well, 10 wasn't enough. And that's
Well,
why I said regulation, 10 minutes, you can get an extension. That's it, Freddie. What do you got?
thank you, Daniel.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, yeah. Just to add to maybe yours, I think it depends on your objective, right? 5 minutes can be enough if your objective is small, and I think you were trying to close a Vlad, and I think that's why you felt compelled to, right? Tell a lot. I wrote in the chat, and it was like first 5 minutes you were kind of exploring. And before I give maybe the clues, I'm just wondering what was the obstacle that Attila gave you? Do you think it was the key component in this mock?
The obstacle, I think the biggest obstacle was just unawareness and uncertainty. So
Mm-hmm.
essentially, Attila maybe didn't realize the option exists for 20%. And I think that 20%, I don't know, Scott, maybe you can correct me, but I think 20% is a very reasonable for real estate investment. There are even real estate investment securities like publicly traded that are 20%. They're a little bit risky, but I think 20% is in the realm of reasonable, right?
I think that I think that's probably a little high, but
Little high. Okay. So it will be more
yeah,
like 15%.
I would say, hey, like it it could be you lose money. I mean, there's a risk. There's always a risk in investment. You could lose money, you could make a ton of money. The real estate market could go crazy and you could make 100%, but it could be bad too. It's anytime you invest money, it's a risk, right? So I would say, I would like to stick with historical gains, which with real estate, it's been in the 8 to 10.
8 to
Also, I'm
10%.
curious to ask Scott, since he's more familiar, what do you think was the obstacle of Attila gave to Vlad?
Well, I think and nobody's going to give somebody $100,000 just like, unless he's like a billionaire, and $100,000 is just nothing to him.
Really?
Like,
I think, Scott, it's easily could be done. 100,000 is not really a big investment in real estate. It's kind of like a small investment, I would say.
yeah, but like if you walk up to me and you say, "Hey, money has to be moved around. I have to look at I'm not going to give anybody even like $5,000 unless I
Well,
know, unless I see like, yeah, we're
Unless
not,
you convince, right?
yeah,
And
wait.
that goes to my
unless it's a
point. That goes to
solid
my
So,
investment. It's
so,
got to be
s-
solid. I mean, I have to see numbers. I have to see financials. I have to see the paperwork. I have to see your
of course,
incorporation papers. I got to
of
see
course.
everything,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Unless you're actively trading on the stock market, unless like if you're publicly held, and I can just go on and look. Oh yeah, hey, check out E Trade. Yeah, go over there and check out my ticker symbols. SCO, and then I go in there and look at it. So, damn, I'll buy some of that. And then you see all the investors are saying, yeah, this is a great fund. Put money in it. Recommendations buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a no brainer.
So
Interesting.
basically, based on what Scott said, I think I agree. In the beginning, Vlad, I don't know if you noticed, but Attila was saying that he wants a secure investment.
Hmm.
He told you he wasn't wealthy enough,
Hmm.
and he cannot afford losing money. Then you start talking about rates, which I think it was a mistake from my perspective, because then he said, "I'm not smart enough about investment," and I think you should address that before going to the rates.
Not smart
Um,
about this investment. This is what he said
yeah, he kind of mentioned I don't understand
about
or something like that. Yeah,
investment.
I put in the comments, and after 5 minutes, I noticed you went to a presentation mode. You
Yeah,
were
yeah, I know.
basically talking.
Yeah, because of
Um,
the pressure of time,
yeah, no, I get
pressure
it.
of time.
So I guess the first 5 or 10 minutes will be more to qualify and address those fears rather than maybe selling.
I agree. I agree. It was a problem that Attila, for some reason, diminished his investment, um, you know, skills and experience. Like he's like, oh, I'm not an investment. I was trying to build his confidence and reputation as an investor in the past, and Attila was like, no, I'm not an investor. Actually, this would probably be the biggest obstacle in the whole deal if I start to kind of try to lure someone who didn't invest into a big investment opportunity. I mean, the people who did not invest before probably won't invest. Though, for example, one of my friends, well, not friends, but my real estate my realtor, he is actually lending people money for 6%, and he's lending people to buy houses, for God's sake. He's lending people like hundreds of thousands of dollars to get cash purchases, but he knows how to make paperwork. So it's not like he's just giving people money. No, it's actually a contract that you need to pay back. So risk mitigation by, the paperwork is possible, and there's insurance to that, and there are other things. But for a person who is fresh, like Attila seems to be like a fresh person who didn't invest in real estate before, that will probably be the biggest obstacle. Just the fear of it.
All right. Is there anybody else that has feedback?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Go ahead.
It didn't feel like you were needed the money. So opposed to what Daniel heard. So it wasn't, to me at least, it wasn't like, oh, this guy needs money and he's in trouble. To me it didn't feel like that at all.
Mm-hmm.
So in the beginning there were great questions what you made. It didn't feel good when I was first asking about you and
I've
you
ignored it.
you said you didn't even mention you heard the question. Then we go again and go, and what's going on with you? That's a great question. Let's put it on the side. Here you go. I mean, what's going on? That that didn't make any good. So then
Yeah,
you were asking questions, and I was revealing so much information about me. So you brought out I was working in the bank. I didn't even know that. But anyway, so
well,
I
we are
was
friends.
telling you, yeah. So I was telling you in the bank how much education I had to do. You had to do so much learning, and it never works in the real life. I was trying to invest, but it didn't turn out great. I had to study so much, and I don't know what else I was saying. So on one of that, what I gave you, if you would go deeper
Yeah,
on just one of that, on maybe two of those, that would probably done it to
yeah,
build a rapport, and then we go forward.
yeah, yeah,
But those were not heard. You
yeah.
just said, you said, yeah, the first 2 years was rough, and it was just like general. But
Mhm.
if you go deeper on that subject, oh, you had to study overnight, and the bank probably made you to watch those webinars on the
Darn it.
internet,
I
and
missed nurturing opportunity.
yeah. So that's the feedback from my side.
Yeah, that's probably the most regretful that I didn't do that. I would say like I would bash myself for not nurturing you the most out of all the other things that I didn't do right. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think like I gloss it over and I shouldn't have. I should have slowed down and acknowledge you, validate you, and that would probably be a mistake that could ruin the whole deal.
Yeah,
Just
to focus not what you wanna say, but
yeah,
focus what the other one wants to
yeah.
hear or talk about, or how did he feel about it, or what happened. So
Yeah, that was probably the biggest mistake in this negotiation on my side. Yeah. Thank you, Attila. Thank you very much. That's great. And I'm
hopefully you're
wondering,
not.
I'm wondering if I really didn't want to get into my business and you are asking me questions, what's going on with you? How are you, Vlad? What's on your side? And I feel the push from you, but I want to reverse it. And well, I use it at the standard reversal principle is like I said, like, oh, that's a very good question. That's a little bit of nurturing. It's like, do you mind if I ask you a couple more questions about your business? And you said like I was not good, and then I'm thinking like, what could be better than that?
Yeah, to what could be better, or just go on what I said, and not asking other more questions, but you reply to what you heard so far, and maybe emotional labeling that probably that was so stressful for you, or maybe bring up family. I don't know, it's a good idea.
Mhm,
Probably your family was alone when you were trying to do a second business, or
mhm.
something like that. because at one time I told you I was working in the bank and do my own business, and that's a lot of time working away from their family. Hopefully, I didn't make you feel bad or angry.
You make me feel very angry, very, very angry. I'm just kidding. Yeah, fine, Attila.
You make me very angry indeed. Now I'm going to have to make more Martians.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Attila. That was great. I appreciate
That was
everybody's.
great. That was great. I think my feedback, I felt like it was going well and that you had his interest. And I feel like when it comes to a big investment with a lone property manager who's just kind of a fledgling business, it's high risk. And I would want to be directly involved in, even in the day to day. If I'm going to throw in 100,000, I want to know what's going on. I want to talk to you about your plans. I want to be able to give feedback, and I want to see like a very well written like pro forma plan. So I think that was good that you got his interest to look at your stuff. So that was cool. That was good. And yeah, I was a little distracted trying to figure out how to get a timer to appear in Zoom. Maybe I'll figure that out some other time. But let's do it. Let's do it again.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I actually have to jump off. I appreciate it. I
Yeah,
have another session to hold. So thank you
no
so much
worries.
for the opportunity to take care, everybody.
What do you think, Freddie? You want to go up against? Daniel's still here. I thought Daniel was going to have to jump, but he
I
stuck
think I
around.
would love to go against Attila just I mean, so if he keeps his, and see how
Yeah, yeah, you
I
can
can
too. Yeah.
incorporate those feedbacks and maybe.
I locked myself in the room because I saw Vlad in the room, and I said, "Boy, I gotta stick around. I need to learn some stuff." And, yeah, no, he missed a lot of opportunities, and I think if he would have had that Notify app open, you know, he could have hit,
Yeah.
yeah, emotional label, loss aversion. Oh boy, like there was so many. It was N9. He was running on probably N3. No oriented question, no dynamic silence. No, he used no oriented questions. Yeah. Um,
And
A lot of people, well, it is true. It kind of help you to use the next tool, but that tool it actually forces you to listen. So I think he missed a lot in that sense.
yeah, or at least would have done the listening, more dynamic silence. But you know what? I didn't get to tell him before he jumped off that he did stall for time as he just interviewed Gary Noser. You
Mhm.
know, so Gary Noser would be proud of him that he did not get hung up on. He kept him there.
All right, Attila, you ready?
Yes, Freddie?
All right, let's see.
all right, let me get the timer going on my phone here, and we'll give you
I
10
can put a timer.
minutes.
I can put a
And wait,
timer, yeah.
you gentlemen are aware that this is recorded, right? This can go on the YouTubes.
Should
Oops.
we go longer if we need it, or the
Oops.
10 minutes is
10
not
minutes, okay.
not
We don't.
negotiable?
Let's say
We,
Attila, you're like you have a call, you have a hard stop in 10 minutes because you have a call that you got to
yeah,
get on. So
yeah.
Because
it'll
sometimes
be
we
up to
go an
you,
extra.
Attila. It'll be up to
Sometimes,
you, Attila. Do you want to risk your next call with your customer and
No, I think 10 minutes
your
it should be
customer?
good enough.
sometimes we go an extra 2 minutes, and that does it. So I just
3 seconds, extra
All
3 seconds.
right, let's go ahead and
Okay,
let's get the show started.
all right. Hey, Attila, good to see
Hello,
you, man.
Freddie. Nice to see you.
Good. Do you have like 10 minutes to talk? Really want to share something important.
Sure, 10 minutes, but we'll do it.
Yeah, so I'm doing this new venture, which is about real estate, and I just want to let you know if you were interested. I know you're a busy guy.
Yeah, real
Something
estate.
that you like to hear it more?
Yeah, real estate, that's always a good option. Yeah, it makes me interested. Do you got?
Really?
Yeah.
So what do you know about real estate?
Well, I was trying to get involved in real estate, so I learned about it and I
Mm-hmm.
did a good deal. And since that happened, I thought that's what I'm gonna do for a living. So it was amazing, but the numbers never worked out like that anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
haven't done anything since, but I'm still looking.
So you have some experience, not like really experience like someone professional, but you have a sense of what's real estate about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And have you thought about stocks or other kind of investments? Or real estate is your thing?
Yeah, real estate is, yeah. hmm
Hmm. So if you have the chance to invest something with maybe some advice from professional, would that be something that you would be interested on investing?
Well, yes and no. Kind of those experts and professionals, they just, working for their own money.
No, you don't trust those professionals, right?
Well, I looked so many of deals they brought to me, and it turned out it's just, I don't know, it's not a deal. Even maybe it's too risky or not much return. So sometimes they can analyze the deals. They bring the deal, they think you make X amount of money. But after I put the numbers together, their numbers, of course, they always look better than mine.
Mhm.
So, well, I keep looking, so don't give
So
up.
you like to be involved on the process, and you want to analyze with your own analysis rather than just people giving you a number that looks good.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah. hmm
Hmm. Yeah. So since you're interested, and I noticed that for you, having money in a safe investment and having the appropriate amount of return is important. I can assure you that I'm working with people that I trust. Also, I don't have a lot of money, but I'm willing to invest on this venture. And I can tell you that the amount of return you can get is not like 100%, but it's good enough to make you some money, but at the same time, not too aggressive to lose money.
So there is a good amount of money. It can be made safely. Is that what you said?
Yes, we're not trying to impress Wall Street. Something like
hmm
personal. I want to make money, but I don't want to make too crazy money that I'm risking everything.
So how do
But
we
there's
know?
only one
Yeah,
problem. Go ahead.
yeah. So
What,
do we
what,
know? How do you know if it's safe?
yes, this is very technical, but I can break it down very simple. So what we do, we purchase properties. We don't overpay. We just purchase properties, and based on obviously a very technical analysis, we identify neighborhoods that they can in 2, 3 years get a lot of potential, and we invest it and sell it.
How many have you done so far?
Well, as you know, I started with my house just like you. Then I bought a new property, actually next to my neighbor, and I thought that it would be a good idea to keep doing like this, not to get crazy rich, but to improve small the portfolio and the long term get some money.
Hmm.
I still work. I'm still
Yeah,
doing everyday things. So this is more like as a long term investment.
yeah, yeah. Sounds pretty good, but you, I don't know. I'm kind of a very risk guy, and mm, I, when I talk to my father-in-law, he's not in real estate, but
Hmm.
he knows stuff. He said, Attila, do you remember? Or even I wasn't even here in this country. He said, real estate was flat for 10 years in, I think, 1980s or 90s, whatever. I wasn't even here. He said he bought his house and for 10 years, the value haven't changed. So,
And that's right. So you want to always have someone who has a little more experience than you to maybe give the approval.
uh-huh. So
Yeah.
that's a concern on my end because the experts saying we are on the top. The market is on the top, and that was on the top a year ago. That was on the top 2 years ago, 3 years ago, even before COVID. That was on the top since 2009, right? So that was a big crash in 2008 or 9. So
And I think,
I don't
Attila,
know.
that's a great idea. I think we should bring your family member, because if he has knowledge, that's what we're looking for, people who has specific knowledge. This is not about the market. This is what you know. And if you know where you're buying, and I'm sure we're gonna do well. I cannot promise you we're gonna do 20%, 30%, but as long we know what we're buying, and if you can bring your you say your uncle, I guess, maybe he can even give us more ideas, and he could be part of it. And I'm sure if he smells something wrong, he might tell you and me.
Mhm. I don't know about Freddie. It's just so how many people working with you on these kind of deals?
So right now there is 4 members who want to participate.
Or,
One is Scott. He's a real estate guy.
uh,
I know some finance. I have some experience as well. You could be the third person. And Daniel, he's a real estate guy, that he also interested in that.
so it
I do
doesn't
see,
matter.
Attila,
Yeah,
I do see you hesitant. Okay, I don't want you to make a commitment that you will regret. What we don't just talk to your people that maybe friends from work. We can retake this conversation. This is no pressure. As I told you, this is not like we're gonna go
yeah,
be richer right now. This is just a process. If you trust in our process and you can help us, good. If you don't, we're still good too.
yeah, sure. So, sorry for making you uncomfortable or being hesitant, but it's a big money, so it just
It is.
I don't know what happens if the market. You said the market is gonna. It doesn't matter. What matters what the professionals do. So if you surrounded with the great professionals, then we still safe and we can make money and there's no loss.
Yeah, I mean, Warren Buffett once said you can make money even when the market is down. You just need to know what exactly you're buying. And
Yeah.
that's my philosophy in investment.
Thank you, Freddie. So
So
would
let's
you
check
mind?
maybe next week. Next
Yeah,
week is because I gotta go. So let's if you're gonna bring anyone else that you think they know a lot about real estate, yeah, feel free to bring them.
yeah,
We're not hiding
thank you.
anything. Actually, if we can bring more knowledgeable people,
Yeah, would
even
you
better.
mind to send those addresses with the houses so we can look it up?
Yeah, I can send you my business plan if that's what you're
Okay.
asking.
Thank you,
All right,
Freddie.
awesome.
Thank you.
All right, that
Okay.
was that was good. Uh, Freddie, how do you think you did? Rate yourself on your use of tools.
To be honest, I wasn't planning on tools. I was looking how Attila will react, and based on that, I will respond. I feel I was trying to focus more on my tone in this way. So in that thing, I think I did better. So I would say a 7. Tools, I'm not sure, but tone, yeah, 7. And in terms of the result, I think I was pretty happy. So I would say 8.
Interesting. You asked a lot of yes-oriented questions in the beginning. Do you have time to talk? Would you like to hear more? Would you be interested? Like 3 in a row at the very beginning.
Oh, so I wanted to be focused. So if he say no, I would just move on. So when I asked him, "Are you interested?" That was like almost permission for me to talk about that topic. But I would have asked open questions, I might not get some permission.
What did Attila, how did you feel about the exchange?
What would you change, Freddie? What would you improve?
Yeah, right. What's your magic wish?
Oh, you know what? I did this summary. I think I should have done a couple summaries.
You did do a couple summaries.
Yeah.
No emotional summaries in the end. I think that was my mistake.
You didn't summarize how he felt about things. You were summarizing the deal quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
You did a
Yeah.
lot of summarizing. You did a lot of explaining in this one.
In the end, yeah, I was trying to kind of not convince, but provide some context so he can land.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to hear the criticism. I'm sure I didn't see a lot of mistakes I did.
Daniel, did you want to give your feedback?
Yeah, so unless I'm not the host, I can maybe be a jerk. Might
Go
get
ahead.
booted though.
I'm
Man,
not.
I honestly, I felt all right listening to that. And I was trying to figure out what was keeping me entertained or more tuned in. It was the tone. Yeah, his tone was better, and I like that he did try to crack him a bit, but he was being I think he was being rubber walled. Um, yeah, his tone was really dang good. Would have been nice to be a summary, maybe take a little more risk. I did like he was listening more. Yeah, that felt good. How about Attila? Did you feel the same? Did you feel more what's the word, magnetized?
Yes, certainly. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, as Scott said, the yes-oriented questions, those were not really good. And when you went to explaining more, I can do this, I can do this, I can explain it, I can. And at that time, I wasn't even asking about things you were offering, what you can do, if I remember correctly. That was, no, honestly, most likely I am not the best person for this because that's how I feel about real estate. I got so many bad experience, so many trying. I never jumped in deeply. So lots of frustration. So if you could have touched that, I think we went on that, right? So you got the information. I was trying to do this, and since I did one, but then never happened the next one because of the numbers didn't work out. So if you could have go on that one, probably it would have been more connection and rapport happening.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think that there was definitely a lot of explaining, and I was tracking. I have a spreadsheet where like when I see somebody use a tool, I mark that they used a tool, and I have you using one tool exactly once. That was clear and definitive. There was it was kind of fuzzy between explaining and summarizing. I wasn't sure It seemed sometimes like it was a summary, but I didn't get a you didn't get a that's right out of Attila, so that's not a summary.
The
The tone was
ending,
good. It
yeah,
was
the
engaging.
ending,
I was definitely listening and interested.
yeah, me too.
I'm gonna
Me
go ahead and
too.
stop the I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording.
Yeah,
I
the
can
ending
find
was nice and soft. It wasn't pushy when you ended the conversation. That was a really good point. At, at one point, you were